welcome back to another video, and today I will be doing finally a quite anticipated favorites video of the palettes that I like to use during the Christmas season. Now, I'm a person who really loves Christmas time. I love the because in my country it gets very dark this time of the year, so I love the sort of lights and colors that Christmas brings to the quite dark season, and because I think next time there will be something colorful and a lot more sunlight will be during the maybe at the end of March. So I think Christmas is a very nice season in terms of bringing some light into the darkness, and also just that I like everything Christmas themed. I like the atmosphere, the Christmas foods, and just the red golds and shimmers and sort of everything like holiday-ish that comes with it. And I also do like the fact that it's a good time of the year to spend some time with your family and loved ones, and I do love giving gifts to those that I love, and of course everyone, like, I also like receiving gifts, but I think more or less I think now that I'm more of someone in their 30s, I think I have more started appreciating the spending time with the family side of it rather than actually getting the gifts, because I remember as a child I was very anxious always about getting to the gifts part, and the whole like day waiting when we would start opening the present, it felt like a torture. But anyway, that was a little bit about about me and my relationship with Christmas time. And I do have to say that also in my country, because during the fall time, after the summer, there isn't really like any sort of, we don't have any festivities between the summer months and then between like when you start, like the Christmas stuff starts like trickling in at the end of November and beginning of December time. So there isn't, like, after summer there isn't really anything to wait. So when summer holidays is over, the whole fall is pretty much just being at work and working really hard and just waiting for the Christmas holidays for finally to get some breathing space, and then also spend time with your loved ones and also all the Christmas festivities. But now to the palettes themselves. So I actually haven't counted beforehand how many palettes I have in this video today. There will be, how should I say, considering the amount of holiday palettes that I have been buying this year, I think it's actually been like a little bit worse than last year. However, I think it will show in this ranking that the palettes that I have bought this year, because they're quite absent from this video, is that I haven't really been exactly pleased with the quality, or just something that the newer palettes haven't been ranking above the sort of old ones that I like have bought last year or on previous years and that I like to use. But I will now start, and these aren't per se in any like what's my most favorite and least favorites. These are like just some holiday palettes that I like to use this time of the year. However, the one holiday themed palette that I will be showcasing, so this is the Chanel Holiday Quint from this year. I believe this is called, and I'm holding it upside down. So Lumiere Graphique, it was Chanel's this year's holiday launch, and I have if you have watched the comparison video between this and the Dior holiday collection, I'm gonna move it here, so now you will be able to see it. So this is like the only holiday release from this year that will rank in or will be included in this video. And why I wanted to include this was that I think that if you are looking for, because a lot of these luxury brands release these sort of holiday quints this time of the year, and so far from, well, I only tried this and the Dior one, and if you have seen my comparison video between this and the Dior holiday collection, you know that I wasn't exactly a fan of the Dior quint. However, I would recommend this one if you are the kind of person who likes these quints. These are quite expensive for what they are, so this is priced I think somewhere in the 80 euros mark. So this is very pricey for 5 shades you're getting, but if this is your style of makeup, then the quint is definitely something that I would refer you to. And because I think that what this has going for it is that it has depth, so we have the two, there's the darker brown shade and then the black shade, so that you get some depth with this. You also get some sparkle with this white shade over here. And overall, I just think that this is a very good sort of, if you're looking for this quick one and done quint for the holidays that will last, that has longevity and has a certain type of quality to it, then I would recommend this one as your sort of holiday luxury quint if this is what you are in for in the holiday market. Next, let's go to Pat McGrath, and I have two Pat McGrath palettes that I have included in this video, and surprisingly only one of them is actually an official holiday release, and one of them is the bigger Mothership ones. So I'm actually going to be showing this quint. So this was one of the quints that she came out with last year. I believe this is called Celestial Nirvana, and this was the Nude Allure. So this year she came out with, I believe, 5 of these, but last year there was the really big palette and then there was the 2 of these. And why I rank this, for example, higher than the quint that she came out with this year and that I bought and have reviewed on my channel is that unlike the quint that, for example, this year's quint, I'm now trying to think of the name, it was the bluish one of the quints that I got, and with that I already said that I felt that it had the 2 silver shades that were a bit too similar to be in one palette, and also additionally the only matte shade in the palette, it was a dud. It's horrible to work with. However, with this one, why this rank is that all the shades in this, there is no issues. The matte works perfectly, and the shimmers, I do believe, even though for the shimmers are all unique on their own, so it has this sort of like very almost, I'm gonna say it's like a purple, light purple silver toned shimmer over here. Then it has this sort of very beautiful pink to mauve sort of, pink to mauve shifting golden shimmer. Then there is this dark purple shimmer, and then we have a traditional brownish bronzy shimmer, and this is actually something that will work as a deepening up shade even though it is a shimmer shade. So I altogether feel that this, for example, is much better quality than the quint that I got from her last year, and for me I think that if you're looking for this sort of brownish more toned holiday looks, I think if you have this, then I would definitely recommend getting out and getting some use out of it, because the looks that I have come out with this have all been very beautiful, and I do think that you will get some very beautiful holiday party looks out of this one. Next, I will show the Mothership that I included in this, and if you have watched my eyeshadow palette ranking, you know that I might have hinted at why this ranks, or well, not ranks, is included in this video. So this is the Divine Rose one, and as I said in my ranking video, even though in terms of color story the Divine Rose is my favorite, in terms of usability this ranks, ranks above that one. And now I'm gonna show, you will see, of course most of you have seen this and know the color story, but so why this for me is sort of an ideal holiday, and especially this time of the year, is that it has this sort of, it is like, I know some people don't count this as a cool toned one. I say that it is in the neutral spectrum. I don't find this particularly warm toned, but it's in the sort of neutral zone of the eyeshadow, like if you think about like brownish palettes. And why this is included here is that this is beautiful for all the Christmas parties, but also for the New Year's evening parties that I know many people go to. And there's just something so very effortless in this, and the sort of 4 special shades here, sort of all, especially this more shimmer shade. I can try to see if I can swatch it, and if my camera will be able to pick it up. So it's sort of very beautiful glittery, very sort of beautiful glittery topper shade that you can basically transform any look into a more sort of a glam evening look. And this is also something that I did say that also you can create quite a lot of office appropriate looks with, but what for me this sort of screams the quite essential like holiday evening party look palette, because there's quite a lot of depth in this, and I feel that all of the shimmers in here, you get this sort of very glam-like look. And yeah, I'd say this is like definitely one of the better Mothership that Pat McGrath has come out with, and I definitely would recommend this to include this in your holiday makeup range if you're someone who likes to switch out your makeup seasonally. Next one is a palette that was included, I believe, in my fall eyeshadow palettes, but this is also a palette that I would very heavily also include in the sort of typical holiday palette category. So we are talking about the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette, and yeah, now my ring light isn't washing it out completely. And why this, I'm also ranking this into the sort of holiday palette categories, is purely because of the reds and gold. So this has, I think, if you're the person who, instead of the maybe more cool tone silver looks, likes the more sort of traditional red and golden looks for the holiday, I think this palette has quite a lot of that going to it. So these sort of like dark burgundy purplish, and then these sort of like very dark reddish shades over here, and then the golds in this, like I think it's perfect if that's the kind of holiday look that you really want to create. And the quality in these big Huda palettes is like I think one of the better, like higher end qualities. I haven't been exactly a fan of the smaller 9-pan palettes, but these bigger ones I do say are very consistent, and I do say that the Huda formula generally is quite easy to work with, and also the fact that she does offer quite a lot of variety of textures. So there are some smoother shimmers, but there are also some really sparkly ones. Huda's palettes don't have these sort of multi-chrome and shifter shimmers per se, but I think if you are a person who likes these more sort of traditional higher end palettes that just have generally like good quality mattes and shimmers, then these palettes will not disappoint. So if you're still I'm not sure if this is discontinued or if this is still available, so if you are able to find it and you want this sort of golden red burgundy holiday looks, then I would definitely recommend buying this, or if you have this, then getting out from your drawer and get some use out of this during this holiday season. So those were the sort of higher end picks from my holiday palettes, and next I'm gonna show 3 indie brand makeup palettes that I think are quite essential for the sort of holiday theme. I actually don't have any drugstore options, unfortunately, for this. So when I tried to look through all the more sort of affordable drugstore palettes, I really didn't feel that none of those were sort of screaming Christmas for me enough to include them in this video. But let's get to the first palette from the indie category. So this is the Glossgods sort of smoky palette that they came out with last year. And this was unfortunately a limited edition palette, so I don't think this is available anymore. So this is called Smoke and Mirrors, and let's open it. And I think I already mentioned in my eyeshadow palette declutter that this isn't a color story that I prefer because it has quite a lot of gray tones. And also I have a bit of an issue with this, that a lot of these tones look quite similar once you get them to your eyes. So there's quite a lot of sort of dupes within the shades, even though they look different in the pans. But I would recommend that if you are the person who likes this sort of cool toned silver holiday looks, this is a very good option, especially if you have this like lying around, because like I said, unfortunately you can't get this anymore. So there is like quite a lot of depth you can get with this. So there is this sort of a sparkly black shade that you can use to deepen up, and then there are these 2 smoky like gray shade. There is perhaps like something that you should consider is that this is a bit lacking mid-tone shades, so this is sort of like what I would count in as the only mid-tone matte that the palette has, because these this one and this matte are quite light, so that is the sort of only downside of this palette, that you have a bit of like darker shades and you have lighter shade, but you only have like 1 mid-tone shade, which is also more sort of red leaning. The shimmers in this are very beautiful. They are very like this sort of stable Glossgod quality shimmers that have a bit of a shift, but just so you're aware, a lot of these will look quite similar on your eyes. So for example, let's see. One of the whites, I don't remember was it this one or this one, but one of the whites, even though they look white in the pan, actually translate to almost this sort of like full-on silver that it's on the bottom. And these 2 sort of rusty shaded shimmer browns also basically look identical on the eyes. So not a lot of variety, even though there's quite a lot of shades, but if you have this and you like your cool toned holiday looks, then definitely get some use out of this, because the looks will come out being very beautiful regardless of the shades that you use from this. And then two palettes that will be the last palettes of this video and that I am ranking as a duo, or not ranking, sorry. It's hard when I'm talking about ranking videos all the time when this isn't technically a ranking video, but these are sort of grouped together. So these are the Oden holiday palettes last year, and if you missed this out, because I know a lot of people did, these have now been relaunched along with the new ones, and I will be talking very soon why the two new ones, because I have those and I have been testing those, but why they aren't included in this video. So these are now available again. I don't think that the restock has sold out. Last time when I checked, I do know that I am now filming this video on the Sunday after Black Friday, and I know these were probably included in their Black Friday campaign. So it could be by the time that the video goes up, these might be out of stock again, but these were restocked. And first of all, the reason why the newer ones aren't included, well, I have been now trying them for a couple of days. I have now tried quite many shades also from the newer palettes, and unfortunately the newer palettes, there is some quality issues there. I will be putting them either on an eyeshadow palette review ranking video later on or during the December, or I will be doing an a review just for those palettes, but the quality is not the same. But let's talk about now these two that had the quality and why they are still as they are. So first one I will be showing is the Merry Christmas palette. So this is the sort of reddish one, and the inspiration between these palettes was that in Scandinavia you sort of actually celebrate your Christmas during the Christmas evening, and then the sort of that is when you get gifts and you have the Christmas dinner, and then the Christmas day is sort of a day when people just relax and spend time with the family. So that is why there were two palettes, but this is the sort of one that is inspired by the Christmas day. And this is just this is if I would have to rank a rate which is my favorite, actually the blue one is my favorite, which probably will surprise you considering if you know what kind of color stories I like. However, while this is very beautiful with the reds and greens, I have a bit of an issue that I really have to try to think quite hard in combining the sort of two halves that this has. So quite often it will be so that I will use this green half as a separate half and then the orangey red half as a one half, because I have, well, I can do quite, at least I feel that I can do quite good looks with mixing up different kind of color stories, but something about these colors for me has made it a bit of challenging at times at combining the palette as a cohesive palette into look. So that is why I prefer to use this as working as this section on its own and then working this section as its own. But all the shades in this generally very beautiful. There are no issues in terms of blending with the mattes. All the shimmer shades, it has more sort of smoother shimmers, and then it has these sort of more textured shimmers like the gold one at the bottom here. And if you are into your red and green Christmas looks quite literally, then this is a very beautiful and perfect palette for that. And with the shimmers you get very unique looks with this one. And now the bit of a surprising, so this is sort of the Christmas Eve palette, and why I actually ranked this higher sort of in between the two palettes if I would have to rank these, is that with this one, first now you're gonna say that wait, you don't even like blues, and I know I have made it that quite obvious that these bright blues, bright greens and very bright purples aren't usually my jam, but with this one there is the tones of blues here are a bit more muted, so that is the first reason why I actually can operate with this one. Similarly also, for example, the green here, this is sort of more like a muted green, and then this is actually more sort of a mustard yellow, and generally just I find it surprisingly easy to mix and combine the different shades in this one. So with this one I feel that I can work with it as a cohesive palette, which is very surprising considering that the colors in the sort of Christmas Day palette are actually, because it has reds and pinks in it, which are usually something that I do like more, but because I do feel that with that one I do have to use a bit of effort to use the palette as a whole, compared to this one where for some reason, which is a bit hard for me to also explain why, but something in this just makes it easier for me to work with it no matter what shade. So with this one I don't have an issue that mixing between different shades and creating looks. And yeah, and I do feel that I think these two, like you would think, for example, that this yellow and this sort of more mustard yellow, that these would be sort of hard to combine, but I actually haven't had issues of combining these into the looks, even though this is very like green, blue and purple heavy, but I do believe because the tones are more muted, that is why this has been easier for me to work with. And I will have to say, like, altogether, why these sort of like also why I rate these still so highly is that I feel that these palettes are different enough to be included in the same launch. I will be discussing this later when I will be in another video, and I will be talking about the newer palettes that came out this year on the holiday collection. But with that one, I have felt, especially now comparing them to these older ones, is that with those I feel that there is some... With some shades there is perhaps the question that because the brand probably knew that people will be mostly buying them together, so there is a question why there is perhaps some bit too many similarities to have like two different palettes, but that is something that I will go into in another video. But as these two as like a pair are unique enough to be bought together, and you don't feel that you're getting repetition, but they are still very Christmas themed, and they both, like I said, the formula in this is very beautiful. Of course, I can't say about the formula of the relaunch palettes. I hope they kept the same quality formula in those, because I think the formula Odens I put in the Christmas palettes, those Christmas palettes last year, was one of their best formulas that I think they have created. But yeah, those were the last holiday palettes in this video. For all of the Christmas palettes that I wanted to showcase for you that I would recommend using this holiday season, comment down below what palettes and makeup you have been using in this holiday season, if Christmas is of course a celebration that you celebrate, because I do know that not everywhere in the world Christmas is celebrated in. And if you like this video, push the like button and subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see notifications from my content, then there should be the bell button, so ring the bell. And YouTube should probably be recommending some more videos from me if you like to stay a bit longer, but if you have to go, that's also alright. And I hope I will be seeing you on the next video very soon. Bye bye!